LIBTARD! Hello, how we doing? Don't forget to hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe. All of those things are free. There's 3 y'all here, y'all can hit the like button. Right there. And tap his voice, man. Dumb ending givers now. Oh, YouTube sucks. Come on there, LIBTARD, talk. There's 4 y'all here, hit the like button. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. No one's gonna say anything, we're just gonna stay quiet. Oh, we lost one. We got a long day, so we're gonna get the video started. You guys all can watch it slowly. We know the LIBTARD, man. They'll come watch it. They always do.
President Trump.
Oh,
Exactly what needs to happen to win 300 seats in the midterm election, and I think you'll agree. Carl Higbee on Newsmax says Trump is hitting home runs while the rest of the GOP party does very little. He says, prepare to lose the midterms if you keep rejecting Trump's orders and ideas. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is officially being investigated for $50,000 of campaign money being used on a luxury trip in Puerto Rico. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. If you enjoy getting the truth, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into the news tonight.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez under scrutiny after FEC filings show her campaign spending nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico on hotels, meals, during a Bad Bunny concert. Correspondent Sarah Williamson has the very latest for us. Sarah.
Hey, Lydia, look, well, you're allowed to have fun, but on campaign money, I'm not so sure about. It's not exactly the best look because these newly filed federal records show that AOC's campaign spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico over just a few months. Entire brand railing against wealth, privilege, elites, and excess. Now, Federal Election Commission filings show that for the third quarter, that AOC's campaign reported nearly $50,000 in spending in Puerto Rico just between the months of June and September. The filings list high-end hotels, meals and catering, and event-related expenses paid for, all with campaign funds. The records also show about $23,000 spent on a venue rental in Puerto Rico, the same venue, in fact, that AOC was seen in a private suite at the Bad Bunny concert in August, a moment that went rather viral online. Now, the appearance coming the same month, she delivered a speech condemning gentrification in Puerto Rico and economic inequality, further intensifying criticism that her personal choices undercut her political message. Now, under federal campaign finance law, it's important that we do say this. This spending is actually allowed. Campaigns may legally use donor money for travel, adding lodges, meals, event spaces, as long as it's tied to political activity. There is no cap on hotel or venue costs, making this less about legality and more about credibility here. Now, we have reached out to AOC for comment, yet to hear back from her, but in a previously published statement, her campaign manager said that she regularly travels to Puerto Rico to support local causes and that the spending reflected legitimate campaign activity. But for critics, this just reinforces what they see as a familiar pattern of a progressive lawmaker condemning excess while she comfortably is enjoying the very privileges she tells others to reject. Lydia?
And that was also a lawmaker with her at that concert. Sarah Williamson, thank you for that report.
No.
This wearable flashlight glove is quickly becoming the most popular Christmas gift of 2025. Nobody believed me.
Williamson, thank you for that report.
Well, this seems to be a pattern. We have lots of people doing this, and this would make me very mad to find out that I donated to you because I believe that you were going to change the climate or fight for equality, and then I find out $50,000 on a luxury vacation. It's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Now, Carl Higbie over on Newsmax, he is desperately trying to get the word out that the GOP is going to lose the midterm. Why? Yeah. Because they continue to reject President Trump's orders and ideas. We voted overwhelmingly. We haven't seen a Republican get the popular vote win in decades, and he got it. Of what the American people want. Listen to what Carl had to say over on Newsmax.
Everyone's like, oh, this is the most important election. No, the most important election of our lifetimes from here on out is the next one. Okay. And then the one after that. And then the one after that. And if Republicans don't make these things into law and get this through their head, they're going to lose. And Republicans are going to sit there in the minority scratching their head. I don't understand why we didn't have turnout. The better question is, Mike Johnson, why would we show up to vote? You haven't thrown a single person in jail. There's no accountability for COVID, and New York Dems ran the guy who literally stuffed elderly patients into retirement homes with COVID and killed people. They blocked meds that would have saved lives. They shut down schools. They forced people to get a vaccine against their will, who then got heart conditions and nothing happened. Then they lied about it, coming from some dude that it was in he ate a bat in a wet market while Fauci and his cabal were killing beagles and funding the Wuhan coronavirus lab and expecting us to believe that it didn't come from a lab in Wuhan named coronavirus. No one in jail for Russiagate, for censorship. Not one of the 51 former Intel officials who told us that Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian plant. It actually does turn out that Hunter Biden was, in fact, smoking crack in bathtubs with hookers. You failed to indict Letitia James for like the third time today because you did it wrong the first time. Still haven't charged Adam Schiff for the same mortgage fraud. Looks like James Comey is probably going to get off scot-free. And the best the Republicans can do is, here's $800 million more for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why the hell would Republicans be excited to vote if Trump's not on the ballot? Want to keep your majority? Throw 100 people in jail for political corruption and all the corruption that Doge uncovered. None of those people are in jail. That's like low-hanging fruit, including everybody involved with the auto pen primary, all the 21 state senators in Indiana who just voted with Democrats to oppose congressional redistricting for their own party. They essentially just gave up 2 seats, abolish the filibuster, and just start getting stuff done. Give us nationwide reciprocity, abolish the income tax. But while you're at it, let's deep six the IRS, and then you can sell the building or drone strike it or do whatever you want so nobody can come back to it. And then you can tell the Muslims seeking refugee status to do it in the 56 surrounding Muslim countries that they have rather than here so we don't have to pay their benefits. You do that, you'll gain seats now. We'll have 300-seat majority. So like me, we'll be excited to go out and vote because we're not right now. Because if you do that stuff, man, Mike, I'm telling you, I will legit run through a wall like the Kool-Aid dude to get to the polls. But if you don't, lose.
No.
You don't, you will lose. Right now, President Trump, he's doing everything that he can. And what Carl Higbie is saying is, listen, as the voters, we've got to start picking up the phone. We've got to start calling Mike Johnson, our local representatives, telling them agenda, put the executive orders into law, codify them, go after the corruption. We know for a fact a lot of these people are corrupt. I mean, they didn't go after the people stealing money from Social Security. They didn't go after the Medicare fraud. They didn't go after, I mean, they're just like, I can't even name them all. There's so many. Yet Alex Jones says, listen, I have the exact blueprint necessary for President Trump to win 300 seats. Let me show you what Alex Jones is recommending to President Trump.
New Epstein pics release showing Andrew, Trump, Woody Allen, and Richard Branson. But not Trump with them, but you read it, all the same, sounds like he's there. Ooh, sex toys found, Trump in photos, but not those. And now we heard this back at the time from good sources. Bongino knows this was ridiculous. They say there is no extra Epstein files and Epstein acted alone and he killed himself and the Easter Bunny's real. And now that's why they're saying he bet big blow-ups with Bondi and all the rest of it is on his way out. But the reason we need cabinet shakeups in the areas where we're not getting delivered what was promised. We're getting it. The gnome, that's why you're hearing she's going to be fired, but she wasn't. We're getting it with Homan and people. We're getting it with Gabby. We're getting it with RFK Jr. in spades. He's getting more done than I thought because it's insanely good. Let's never hear about it. And the issue is the Justice Department. And I understand it's a culture of cowards and globalists and scum and traitors and operatives. And they've got a few good people, and I understand. That's why he's got all the courts blocking everything he tries to do. I know it's hard, but you can get people in there that can get it done. So I'll talk about this later, but Susie Wiles, and I'm not saying she is a good organizer, that's confirmed, and has helped Trump or control over the Republican Party, but people don't want Trump doing rallies. I mean, they do like that, but that's nothing compared. He's a campaign for candidates. Definitely helps, but you got to balance that. Real indictments, real prosecutions of Brennan's and Clappers and Comey's and Jack Smith's and all of this, that is what people want. You'll get hundreds of seats. You'll be up at 300 in the House of Representatives. You do that. People want justice more than they want a good economy. And out of 10 conservatives I talk to are populists say, hey man, I'd live in a shack to see these devil-worshipping Satanists kicked out of power and this reversed. The truth is, though, we kick them out of power, we'll be living in palaces comparatively. You live on your feet, you die on your knees. Average way more often. Oh, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Well, guess what? You get to live on your knees. And the globalists, survive and run their operation if more people stand up and if more people are aggressive in the face of this. So Trump needs to put out video compilations of Democrats promoting pedophilia and degeneracy and their policies. He can ask the public to do it. We'll do it. We'll do it for you. And you need to go on the warpath and point out they found 60,000 of the kids and rescued them, many in sex slavery. People go, well, where is it? They're children. They're sealed cases. But there's ways to get the information out legally. And Trump needs to go full PR on this, which they've been doing. Overall, good job in between all the other work they're doing at ICE, but it's important. It's the Democrats that shipped in 1 million kids it's up to now. Yemen, sex slavery, slave labor, all confirmed. Vaporize them, and then if you indict Mayorkas for any of the crimes he's committed, charities he runs and the things he's involved in, he's the kingpin. You indict Mayorkas, who's been scared, running around trying to secure pardons and stuff, but he didn't get it. Win the midterms despite all the election fraud. Yep. It overrides that because of the landslide. There's only so much fraud they can bake in, as you know. Which I explained last election. People now understand it. There's a lot of factors, but that's the bottom line. So we must, on the warpath, they've caught it on hot mic. I tell people that are there, Trump is constantly saying, attack, 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 go after them, do this, do that. He's running around calling up the big food suppliers and calling up the beef monopolies and saying, the meat packers, stop it or I'm going to bust you up. He's got the government investigating that. He is scurrying around trying to get energy prices down, which he's done. We'd be in a lot worse shape if Kamala was in. You got the Democrat blue states openly blocking, because it's the states that collect it, the no tax on tips. Trump needs to be hammering their asses. He needs to fly to California and go to these pot farms where they saved all the kids and point out that there were shootouts there. He needs to go into a diner and a restaurant and walk in and show how the damn tax money's still being taken and how the states are keeping it with their foot on the neck of the hardest working people in this country.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. He speaks very passionately, but did you hear all the wisdom and truth that he shared? If Trump keeps doing what he's doing, we might win. Susie Wiles, the great organizer, has him out doing rallies. That's also going to increase our chance of winning. If the GOP is going to do nothing, then they're dragging Trump down. They've got to be replaced. They've got to be primaried. But I think he brought up the best point, which is what Carl Higbie was also saying, is that you have to start arresting people. We cannot be blind anymore. Do not ask us to refuse to see what our eyes are seeing. We saw the corruption. We need arrests. We need justice. He needs to be on the war campaign of PR, going out showing how gas prices are significantly higher in blue states, how food is higher in blue states, how they're blocking tax on tips. They're undermining him left and right, and then they request money from the federal government and he just gives it to them because he's trying to be the president for everyone. It is time to go on the war path or we are going to lose. All right, these were three big stories that I thought you guys would enjoy. They jumped out at me. I read through about 100 a day. I said, these are the three that I want to bring on a Friday night. Hey, if you found value in these videos and you want to be a part of our community, hit that subscribe button. If nothing else, give this video a like, stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.
Allow me to introduce myself. Gus Berlin. The Kenosha Kickers? No? That's okay. I thought you might have recognized. Anyways, I had a few hits a few years ago. That's why, just polka, 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 polka. No? Twin Lakes polka, Damavuji polka, a.k.a. Kiss Me polka, polka twist.
These are songs.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It's the day we've all been waiting for. The White House just straight up dropped the documents on Ilhan Omar that she married her brother and must be deported because, well, when you commit immigration fraud, you get denaturalized and deported. Tom Homan has said that the federal government is now investigating, and the documents are pretty brutal, ladies and gentlemen. The White House linked to a brand new investigation in the Free Beacon. Yes, Ilhan Omar married her brother. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yes, Ilhan Omar married her brother. We've read through this entire expose and what it links to, using people who know Ilhan Omar's family, know all the family connections, understand sort of the inter-tribal dynamics here, and understand exactly what Ilhan Omar was doing when she left her first husband in order to marry Ahmed Nur Said Elmi. This individual is Ilhan Omar's brother, according to DNA evidence as well, and is effectively commit immigration fraud in order to get him into America. This is something that is pretty demonstrable. Multiple major reports, major news lines, left, right, and center, saying that when they investigated this, according to sources that are close to her campaign, according to the actual official documentation here from the state of Minnesota, very curious, they were married in a Christian marriage. Isn't that fascinating? For these extremely religious Muslims, they're married in a Christian marriage. Why would that be? Oh, and by the way, while she was married to her brother, she had a child with her first husband because they never stopped being married. You understand this? So the White House here, this is the rapid response of 47 with 1.3 million followers, is out posting, listen, yes, Ilhan Omar married her brother, and hard tag for Ilhan Omar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what does this lead to? Well, it also leads to, let's just say, full-scale immigration and denaturalization investigations. This is what Tom Homan says it's going to lead to. Here we go.
The border czar, Tom Homan, joins us tonight to talk about Minnesota as well as a number of other issues. And, sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions. Who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a story that has never been successfully refuted, even though it's now a 5-year-old story. That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file and says, there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitations became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at, but this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
It's tremendous that, and according to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent in this community. That would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something actually going to happen? Are there going to be people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
Absolutely. Those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. We're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas. Trump has instructed us go down.
If Tom Homan needs any help or extra evidence, you can see here the Biden administration really didn't want anybody to know that DNA test results found 99.9999998% chance that Omar and her second husband, Ahmed Elmi, now her ex-husband, are siblings. FBI dodged Ilhan Omar wed probe. Too bad. But maybe the Trump administration could take this seriously and get it done. This is what we asked Member of Congress, Greg Steube, this morning, and he says, yeah, it's time to arrest, deport, and denaturalize. That's what you do when you commit immigration fraud.
Congressman, this is a bombshell. White House.
Yeah.
I'm not like I guess the basics of the story, this report goes well into detail. The basics of the story, provided with documentation here, now posted by the White House, seems certainly worthy of a full-scale investigation. You hope that happens?
You wearing 7 layers and still freezing your man nipples? You need the new 340.
Certainly worthy of a full-scale investigation. You hope that happens?
Yeah, I hope that happens. And the great thing about immigration fraud is if this is all true, which it clearly is, this has been something that's been rumored for years, and we finally have an administration that's investigating immigration fraud, and how poetic will it be if Ilhan Omar actually defrauded the United States in her way to become a citizen, and as serving as a member of Congress. The great part of this from the administration standpoint is if she committed immigration fraud, they can deport her.
So, yes, there are criminal penalties for defrauding the United States and participating in immigration fraud. But the great part of that is if she committed fraud to get into the country, then she's not legally able to be in the country, and the United States of America can quickly deport her back to Somalia. And then obviously that seat will be vacant. But that's the great part about this is the administration, once they have found that she did, in fact, commit immigration fraud, they can arrest her and have her deported because she is not legally in the country.
What would that look like? Would it effectively look like a DNA test? I guess you'd have to have something, they have plenty of corroborating evidence that comes through the marriage document and marriage certificate. Yeah. And then also Somali community members saying this is obviously the same family.
I mean, I don't even think you if you have the marriage licenses and you can prove that that's her brother, I don't even think you need DNA tests. If the paper, you have to file a marriage license. Obviously, they can track down who this person is and who she is and how they came into the country. I think it would actually be pretty easy to prove that they committed fraud to get into the country, and then therefore she is not legally here in our country, and therefore she can be deported immediately. And I would imagine Homan, because he has stated that they're going to investigate this, I would imagine this is the top of his pile of immigration fraud cases.
I mean, you are on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. This is a very important committee, and this is obviously a committee that a lot of people want to be on because you're able to see and assess the threats to America. You served in the military, and so this is something that's near and dear to you, protection of the homeland. The Somali fraud allegedly funded Muslim terrorism, the same kind of Muslim terrorism that we're seeing on the streets of Washington, D.C., and the killing of our National Guardsmen. What needs to be done here with the Afghan refugees that were brought in here wholesale by Joe Biden? What needs to be done with the Somali fraudsters who are funding al-Shabaab with our tax dollars?
Well, we know that those Afghan refugees were not vetted. They should be fully vetted by this current administration, and I'm sure they're working on doing that. They have so many things that they're working on that they need more ICE agents and they need more Border Patrol agents to go through all of the litany of the open border policies of Joe Biden over the last 4 years and the 12 million illegals that are in our country. Yesterday in the testimony, there's still 100 something or several hundred known terrorists that the Biden administration let into our country that they're trying to search and get out. But that is one piece. And then the fraud should also be investigated from the DOJ. That's criminal penalties. That's stealing taxpayer dollars when you don't have a right to be able to get those. And I believe not only the people that defrauded the United States out of those taxpayer dollars on those government programs should be held criminally liable. I think the leaders of that state, like, accountable as well.
Okay, so how does that work? So yeah, Tim Walz, would this be a DOJ thing?
Well, it would be like a conspiracy case. It would be like you aided and abetted criminal behavior. I mean, there's all sorts of different statutes you could probably tie in. If he knew or should have known that fraudulent activity was going on in his state, or even took steps to allow it to occur, that's aiding and abetting criminal behavior. That's obstruction. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things, statutes that they could lop in for that.
Never worry about your phone running out of battery when you're out and about. The secret is this compact device. Have you noticed that wealthy people in Shanghai never carry charging cables?
Well, thank you very much. We have a big signing right now, and we have a tremendous industry where we're leading by a lot. It's the AI, artificial intelligence. I always thought it should be SI, supreme intelligence, but I guess somewhere along the line they decided on the word artificial, and that's okay with me. That's up to them. It's a massive industry. We're leading China. We're leading everybody by a tremendous amount. The electricity is being built by them in every plant. They're building the electricity. We're getting them rapid approvals. But they're spending trillions of dollars, and they can't, basically this has a couple of other things that are less important, but one of the things that it has is you have to have a central source of approval. When they need approvals of things, they have to come to one source. They can't go to California, New York, and various other places like Illinois with Pritzker, who's, a totally unreasonable person. And they have to have, they're putting all this money in. It's a big part of the economy. And there's only going to be, I think, one winner here. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. I think most people agree, but there's only going to be one winner here, and that's probably going to be the U.S. or China. And right now we're winning by a lot. China has a central source of approval. I don't think they have any approval. They just go and build. But people want to be in the United States, and they want to do it here, and we have the big investment coming. But if they had to get 50 different approvals from 50 different states, you could forget it, because it's not possible to do, especially if you have some hostile. All you need is one hostile actor, and you wouldn't be able to do it. So it doesn't make sense. I didn't have to be briefed on this, by the way. This is real easy business. I mean, this is simple. We're taking in trillions of dollars. We're taking in tremendous amounts of countries, jobs, everything's coming in. Now, just to get off AI for a second, auto plants are being built at levels that we've just about never seen before. We had our auto industry was decimated. 56% of our auto industry left our country over the years. It was at one point 100%, and then it got shriveled down, and really we lost a lot. And now, because of tariffs, which have been so incredible, we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're bringing back our factories. We're bringing back everything. It's we've never been in a position like this. Our stock market today was, well, I saw it a few hours ago, but a few hours ago it was way up, and we hit a new high for the 52nd time in 10 months. We have an all-time high stock market. And it's all reasons. A big reason was the election November 5th, and another big reason, maybe the biggest reason, but maybe not, because without the election this wouldn't have been done, because people don't know how to do it. The second reason is the tariffs. We're charging countries that were really hurting us badly, were really decimating us. Hence we have $38 trillion in debt, which will start paying off pretty soon with the tariff money coming in. But countries that were really decimating us use tariffs against us. Now we're using tariffs. All we want is fair. All we want is national security. It's given us great national security. I settled 8 wars, and numerous of them was because of trade and because of tariffs. So we're very happy with that. But this is about something a little bit different. We want to have one central source of approval, and we have, I think, great Republican support. I think we probably have Democrat support too, because it's common sense. I mean, you can't go to every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change, you still won't get it approved if you have to go to 50 states. So this centralizes it, and it's something which the people behind me, the very distinguished people, all, but Tim Cook just left of Apple and spoke to all of the big companies, great companies, and they won't be able to do this. This will not be successful unless they have one source of approval, or disapproval, frankly. You could have disapproval too, but it's got to be one source. They can't go to 50 different sources. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. And Will, what would you like to add to that?
Sure. Mr. President, as you said, in keeping with your commitment to grow the American economy, create potentially millions of new American jobs, and maintain America's technological and military superiority in the years ahead, this is an executive order that orders aspects of your administration to take decisive action to ensure that AI can operate within a single national framework in this country, as opposed to being subject to state-level regulation that could potentially cripple the industry. David Sachs, your AI and crypto czar, has been one of the key players and key authors behind this EO. He can give you more of the granular detail, but the big picture is that we're taking steps to ensure that AI operates under a single national standard, so that we can reap the benefits that will come from it in terms of economic growth, job development, national security, and technological edge.
And it's really the biggest industry that anybody's seen. I mean, it's taking off. It really benefits, and it should be the United States, and it will be if we do this, if we're unified. We have to be unified. China is unified because they have one vote. That's President Xi. He says do it, and that's the end of that. You know, we have a different system, but we have a system that's good, but we only have a system that's good if it's smart. David Sachs, could you say a few words, please?
Yes, sir. So, as you pointed out, we have over 1,000 bills going through state legislatures right now to regulate AI. Over 100 of them have already passed. 25% of them are in California, New York, and Illinois. You've got 50 states running in 50 different directions. It just doesn't make sense. We're creating a confusing patchwork of regulation. And what we need is a single federal standard. And that's what the CEO says, sir, is it basically states that the policy of your administration is to create that federal framework. We're going to work with Congress, like the chairman here of the Commerce Committee, Senator Cruz, and other members of Congress to define that framework. In the meantime, this EO gives your administration tools to push back on the most onerous and excessive state regulations. We're not going to push back on all of them. For example, kid safety we're going to protect. We're not pushing back on that, but we're going to push back on the most onerous examples of state regulations, sir.
So I spoke with other Republican senators, and we have great approval. I think I spoke to anybody that even had any question and seemed to have gotten approval. Ted Cruz has been a very strong advocate of common. This is common sense. I mean, I think it's nothing more than common sense. Please, Ted.
Listen, this is the single most important economic question in the country and in the world. Who wins the race for AI?
No man should put baking soda on ice unless he really wants his little buddy to wake up in under 2 minutes, rock hard. What happened?
Who wins the race for AI? You look back to the 1990s, there was a similar inflection point with the beginning of the internet, the dawn of the internet. And Bill Clinton was president at the time. He signed an executive order, just like you're doing, that put into law a light touch regulatory approach to the internet. And the result was incredible economic growth and jobs in the United States. At the same time, the European Union took a very heavy-handed regulatory approach. Here's an amazing statistic, Mr. President. In 1993, the U.S. economies and Europe's economy were virtually identical in size. Today, America's economy is more than 50% larger than Europe's, and the two drivers of that are tech and the shale revolution. It transformed this country, and AI is the same thing. It's a race, and if China wins the race, whoever wins, the values of that country will affect all of AI. We don't want China's values of surveillance and centralized control by the communist government governing AI. We want American values of free speech, of individual liberty, of respecting the individual. So this executive order, I believe, is tremendously important. Thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you very much. And Scott, please.
Yes, sir. This is pass-fail. As you said, this is the biggest technological innovation in our country's utilities. We've seen the build out of the internet and the fiber, and now it's AI, and it is pass-fail versus China. We have the single biggest source of economic growth, but everything else we do. But with our defense, there's no use in having a golden dome if China's AI can get around it. There's no use in spending all this money on defense. And the U.S. will remain the leader in this under President Trump's leadership. He has accelerated the growth. We're actually going to move ahead further. We're seeing building everywhere, construction jobs. There are going to be jobs at the AI data centers. And most importantly, President Trump had the incredible idea to allow the companies to create their own power. And we are going to see soon that communities near AI facilities will have the same or lower electric cost than other communities, which is a great innovation. So this is an important document today.
Do you have any questions?
On this subject, President Trump, are you more worried about the U.S. winning the race for AI dominance with China or about AI's potential threat to humanity?
Both. We're looking at that very strongly. We have a lot of threats in the opposite way if we don't do it. You look at the medical and medical research. Already the things that have come out of AI in terms of medical and cancer research and things, we're way ahead of what we ever thought we'd be just from the infancy of AI. So really both, and we want to be very careful with it. We also know that a big part of our economy, it could be 50, 60% of our economy going forward for a period of time at least, especially during the startup, is AI and AI based. We have trillions of dollars of construction going on, and that construction would stop, or it would certainly be, a lot of it would be halted. So look, we're leading China. We're leading China by a lot. China knows that, and not doing this would be the greatest gift to China and other countries, but China in particular, that China has ever received.
And with Venezuela, now that we've seized this tanker, is the campaign against Venezuela still just about drugs, or is it now also about oil?
Well, it's about a lot of things, but one of the things it's about is the fact that they've allowed millions of people to come into our country from their prisons, from gangs, from drug dealers, and from mental institutions, probably proportionately more than anybody else. They came in from many countries. We're getting them out. We had 11,888 murderers come into our country. Many of them are from Venezuela. We had thousands of Tren de Aragua, the gang, come in from, which they say is the most violent gang. I don't know. MS-13 is pretty bad, but Tren de Aragua, they say, is the most violent gang. It comes from the prisons of Venezuela. It came out of the prisons of Venezuela. So it has to do with a lot. If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is, because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon. Thank you, Peter.
Mr. President, in Indiana, just a few moments ago, the Senate there rejected the congressional maps to redistrict in that state. A number of Republicans voted against that redistricting effort. You have spent a lot of time talking about this. The Vice President traveled to Indiana. What's your reaction?
Well, we won every other state. That's the only state. It's funny because I won Indiana all 3 times by a landslide, and I wasn't working on it very hard. Would have been nice. I think we would have picked up 2 seats if we did that.
This is your only chance to own an AI companion that shouldn't exist. We made a batch of companions that turned out too lifelike. I'm serious.
If we did that, you had one gentleman, the head of the Senate, I guess, Bray, whatever his name is. I heard he was against it. He'll probably lose his next primary, whatever that is. I hope he does, but because he's done a tremendous disservice. I mean, think of it. It's a great place. I love the people there. They love me. You know, we won in a landslide all 3 times. Got tremendous votes. I got record votes. And then there's no reason for doing that. And the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it. But I wasn't very much involved. But there's a man named Bray, I guess, head of the Senate. Was that Bray? Is that the name, Bray? I mean, I'm sure that whenever his primary is, it's I think in 2 years, but I'm sure he'll go down. He'll go down. I'll certainly support anybody that wants to go against him.
Mr. Williams, I can ask you briefly on AI and then a question on Ukraine. On the AI side, the flip side of what you've done today is what kind of agreements you can get with China, particularly on the national security threats posed by AI. During the Biden administration, there was a vague agreement on not using AI in the nuclear weapons complex. Tell us what you envision and what conversations you've had, if any, with President Xi on that topic.
Well, relative to AI?
Yes.
I speak to him a lot about it. I speak to him a lot, actually. I have a very good relationship with him, as you know. If you had another president, you would have had a big rare earth problem, and it turned out not to be a problem. They're purchasing tremendous amounts of the soybeans and our agricultural products now. We're getting along with it very well. No, we talk about AI quite a bit. We talk about everything quite a bit.
Well, do you have specific?
No. One of the things I talk to China about is the denuclearization of weapons. We'd like to see if we could stop that. I'm talking about nuclear weapons. I've spoken to China about that. I've spoken to Russia about that. And I think it would be something that we would want to do, and they would like to do, and I think Russia would like to do.
They said they won't join in the start or a follow-on.
Well, that's what they told you, but you know what they tell you is different than what they tell you.
And on Ukraine, Mr. President, just briefly, you made a commitment to the Europeans back in July, if I remember right, to participate in some kind of a peacekeeping. I think air support, intelligence, and so forth. Does that commitment still stand? Is the U.S. ready to go contribute to
It's called the security agreement, basically, that they call it, the security agreement. Yeah, we would help. We would help with security because it's, I think, a necessary factor in getting it done. I thought that we were very close with Russia to having a deal. I thought we were very close with Ukraine to having a deal. In fact, other than President Zelensky, is people love the concept of the deal. You know, we threw something out.
This is a four-part deal.
Well, there's 4 or 5 different parts. It's, you know, a little bit complicated because you're cutting up land in a certain way. It's not the easiest thing. It's sort of like a complex real estate deal times 1,000, right? But it's a deal that would have stopped the killing of thousands of lives every month, thousands and thousands of lives, mostly soldiers, but as you know, there's some bombs being dropped.
Sort of a Korean-linked ceasefire that we don't resolve.
Well, there's a meeting on Saturday. We'll see whether or not we attend the meeting. We said we'll attend the meeting if we think there's a good chance of they want me to attend. They want us to attend. And we'll be attending the meeting on Saturday in Europe if we think there's a good chance. And we don't want to waste a lot of time. We think it's negative. We want it to get settled. We want to save a lot of lives. As you know, in the past we spent could be $350 billion giving it to Ukraine. You know, we got nothing in return, but we gave it to Ukraine. I ended up getting rare earth in return, even though I didn't spend money. And we weapons at full price to NATO, as you know. They distribute those weapons probably to Ukraine for the most part. They're probably doing it to others also, but we're not involved in the war other than the fact that we are involved in a negotiation because people want us there. Ukraine wants us involved very much. Europe wants us involved. I have a great relationship with the countries of Europe. As you know, I took GDP, I took what they're spending as a percentage of GDP, but it was at 2 and they weren't paying, and now it's at 5, and everybody's amazed. But that 5% is, a lot of it's coming back to the United States. With that being said, I'd like to see the killing stop. 25,000 people died last month, soldiers, mostly soldiers, but some people also where bombs were dropped. But for the most part, 25,000 soldiers died last month. I would love to see it stop. And we're working very hard. It doesn't really affect the United States unless it got out of control. You know, a thing like that, as you probably know, because you are a professional, a real professional, which is something I don't say about a lot of other people, but you are a great professional. Things like this end up in third world wars. And I told that the other day. I said, you know, everybody keeps playing games like this. You'll end up in a third world war, and we don't want to see that happen.
Can you confirm that you have appointed a general to lead the stabilization forces in Gaza? What will be his mission, and how soon do you want to see?
Well, we're working very strongly on Gaza. Yeah, we're peace in the Middle East. We have 59 countries supporting it, which is never happened before. We have countries that want to come in and take care of Hamas, as an example. We have countries that want to come in and take care of Hezbollah in Lebanon, as an example. And I say, right now you don't have to do that. You may have to do that, but we have countries that are volunteering to come in and literally take care of the whole thing. We have a great peace in the Middle East. It's never happened before. And I think it's very strong, actually.
And with Prime Minister Netanyahu, is supposed to meet him.
Watch what coconut oil does to your dog's hot spots.
Think you know how to stop your dog's itching? Oatmeal baths? Nope.
No, actually.
And with Prime Minister Netanyahu, is supposed to meet him. What's on there?
Well, we get along with him very well. He's been a wartime prime minister, certainly. We did a big thing when we went in with this very plane right here, this beautiful plane.